Joe Vitale, final question. I've saved the best for last. This is what I really want to know. This is something that's going to be the icing on the cake, the crown jewel. It's going to cap everything off. It's going to bring this home for everyone. And what I want to know is, what is the best advice that you have received concerning generating wealth?
Well, that's a fantastic question. What's the best advice I've received on generating wealth? I've received so much advice, I'm kind of getting dizzy trying to think of what is the one thing or two things or three things that I need to say is the best advice. The first thing that comes to mind is I have a friend in Australia, Winston Marsh, wonderful person. We spoke together at an event he put on in Melbourne, Australia, and he's been a dear friend. I haven't seen him in a long time, but he learned how to generate wealth. And he said one of the things he learned to do was, of course, the first level is to make money. And then the second level was to learn how to make money from the money he made, which for him was making investments of some sort. And I forget if he did real estate or he invested in other businesses. I don't remember that part. But the third part, which I thought was insightful, was he learned to make money from the money he made from the money he made. So there was this third tier that I had never heard before. You know, the first level about making money, well, we all learn that. You know, go get a job, or even as an author, go get a book done and get it out there and make money from that. You make money. But most of us stop there. If you really want to generate wealth, okay, you take the money you've made and you reinvest it in some way. And again, I'm not a real estate expert, but I know a lot of people do the real estate thing. And it may be that you reinvest in another business, you reinvest in somebody else, you reinvest in stocks, who knows what it is. There's something else there. I've bought some collectible guitars, investment grade guitars, as a type of investment to make money on money. But Winston went one step further and said, okay, you made money, and then you learned how to reinvest it. So you made money, you took that money and reinvested it to make more money. But he's saying the money you make from there, you also use to make more money. And I love that. That is stretching the mind to a level where you learn that money can be leveraged in a bunch of different ways to make money in other ways you hadn't thought of before. So you can create multiple streams of income from that. So that's one of the best pieces of advice I'd ever heard. And I got to tell you another one because it reframes everything about what we think about money. It's from Arnold Patent. And Arnold Patent said, the sole purpose of money is to express appreciation. The sole purpose of money is to express appreciation. When I first heard it, I thought, oh, come on, there's got to be an exception to that. And I started thinking about it. It's like, well, when I write my check for the phone bill, it's like, I'm grateful to have the phone. When I write a check to pay the electric bill, I'm grateful to have electricity. When I write a check for the mortgage or anything else, it's like, well, I'm truly grateful to have that service. And I started to realize, wow, when you write your checks and you're spending your money, you're doing it to express appreciation. You may not have known it before, but most of us in the past, when we wrote our checks, I was like that too. I would grumble about it. It's like, man, why do I have to pay that? I want to use it for something else. But now I realize it's like, I am grateful to pay that. That gave me a service. It was food, clothing, shelter, power, utility, whatever it happens to be, that I'm grateful to have. And you stop and think about the psychology of wealth, you'll really be at peace with money if you realize the sole purpose of money is to express appreciation. That was another piece of advice I got that I've taken into my heart, and I invite you to take into your heart. And there's a third thing that I want to say. It's the best piece of advice too. I don't know if you were looking for one thing or two, but you're getting three. So the best piece of advice about attracting money or generating wealth, and it seems counterintuitive, but it was the idea that the more money you give away, the more money you will end up receiving. Now, you've probably heard of the concept of tithing, and this is a type of tithing here, but most of the time when people talk about tithing, they heard it in church and they probably resisted it because it sounded like a minister saying, hey, give 10% of your income to us because we need it. And they probably put a guilt trip on you, and they probably said it was a biblical principle and you needed to do it. And all of that is well and good, and that may work for you, it may not. But what I have found out is that the wealthy people tend to give away 10% and often much more than that to causes they believe in. The way that I suggest you do it is that you give 10% of your income to wherever you've received spiritual or inspirational nourishment. Could be a church, could be a minister, but it could be a waiter or waitress. It could be the mail person that delivered the mail and said something that was the right thing at the right day for you. Could be an author, it could be a speaker, it could be a bus driver, taxi driver, it could be anybody or anything or any company or any corporation. And the idea is for you to pause right now and ask yourself, where have you received spiritual or inspirational nourishment? And wherever that place is, give 10% of your income. And you ask yourself this on a regular basis. For example, every Friday you might pause and say, where was I inspired this past week? Write a check for 10% and send it to that person, whether it's a child or a minister or whoever it happens to be. So I found that a great wealth generating technique is to actually give money away. People like the senior John Rockefeller would give away pennies when he was first making money. And he attributed part of his massive tycoonish level of success to the fact that he gave away money when he didn't really have it. This is the little game people play when they're in the scarcity consciousness. They'll say, well, when I start to generate wealth, I'll start doing that. I'll start giving away 10% of my income. But what I've learned as some of the best piece of advice I ever got in generating wealth was the whole idea of do it now. Stop. Give 10% to where you've gotten spiritual nourishment or inspirational fortification, nourishment, whatever you want to call that. And then you will start to attract more money. As you generate more money, give more and more and just keep it going. Don't wait to do it now. So that's some of the best advice I've ever heard.